TitleMatchNetwork.com.
How approachable is Vince?
He still intimidates the shit out of me. But when I had that first meeting with him, I mean, he sat down in front of me. How's it going? What's going on? Who'd you watch wrestling growing up? Asked me about my mom, and there were times when I needed to ask a question that I could go right up and ask, and he would stop everything he's doing, look at me, think about it, and answer me. But I was still just, that's Vince McMahon. I was so intimidated that it was hard for me to approach him, to get over my, my fear of who he is, my intimidation. But when I had to, he was right there, just like I could ask anybody else a question. So I think he's very approachable, but it was he still has that stigma of being Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but I mean, just
sure,
the aura of who he is.
Did he, as your character was expanding, you were getting, you were in more main events, did Vince give you feedback on your character? Like, I really like this, maybe you should try this, or?
Yeah, but he did that, with everybody. He was so, from what I saw, he was so hands-on. He would give feedback to the first guy, to the last guy. I remember one time the guy wrestled for Memphis, Tony Williams, was doing a dark match, and Vince walking by, Tony, you got big legs, you should cut your trunks a little bit higher to show off your legs. And this guy's in a dark match. Yeah. But yeah, when I was up there, he would constantly, and when he wanted something specific, he would sit down and say, "This is the way I want it," and have me, and have me specifically do it, and then afterwards, he'd always say, "Good job," and I would thank him, and I just, I feel blessed that he gave me the opportunity to do what I did,
What was your memory of the match that you had yourself with the McMahons? You wrestled Shane and Vince, was it?
Yeah. It was just it's when the Spirit Squad was Vince, and then they were doing that thing with DX, and they poured the stuff on the McMahons and Spirit Squad, and they whatever, and then they were trying to. Vince was trying to get back at DX, and he was going to drop the fucking Wile E. Coyote net on top of him. And I remember it was like, "Move over here, no, over here." And finally, they dropped the horrible net. But the match started because we were backstage. It was me, Tori, and I think Schnitzky. We were watching what happened the week before when Vince and Shane and the Spirit Squad had gotten whatever paint or whatnot, dumped all over him, and he said, "You think that's funny? Well, we're going to wrestle you tonight." And then I went to his office, later on the show, and knocked on his door, and "I'm sorry." And that's when him and Shane beat the shit out of me. And that's when they poured the green paint all over me. So that was done about midway through the show, and then we wrestled in the last match. So I had green paint dumped all over me, all over my jacket, my short, all over my boots. And I still had an hour to wait to wrestle, so I'm sitting there backstage all by myself. The paint has started to dry in my hair. That's when I still had the long hair. Yeah. And it was really, I was freezing cold because it's wet, cold paint all over me. My boots are stained, my jacket's stained. Then I had to go out there and wrestle a match. And long story short, roll Vince 1, 2, 3. But I came back and I probably in the shower for 45 minutes trying to get this stuff out of my hair. And no joke, I went to get my hair trimmed up a little bit like the week after that. And the lady's like, "What the hell happened to your hair?" It was like 3 months for me to get all that green out of my hair. It would not come out. My boots, I still wear the same boots, and they're, they're still green splatter all over them. The jacket I have at home just stained, and it was the longest time, but it was just something that the people remember. That every time, people see my boots, that's when Vince and Shane dumped that paint all over you. Yeah, Sioux City, Iowa, all over my head.
Like, once again, you got right back into the thick of things when you were involved in the main angle this year at WrestleMania, for the most part, with the Donald Trump, Vince McMahon deal. And how did that come about as far as getting you involved?
I remember watching it backstage with Cena, and do the whole build-up, and Trump's dropping the dollar bills, and they're going to have a match for the hair, and then the next week they're talking about hair, and thinking back to every angle that's involved, someone getting their head shaved. I'm thinking, that would shave somebody's head beforehand, just to show the people, kind of what's going to happen, like you do with any angle. You got a strap match, you're going to beat somebody that has nothing to do with the angle with the strap, just to show them what they're getting. And I'm thinking, you want to shave somebody's head that's got a lot of sympathy. I'm thinking, who's got the most sympathy? Well, Shawn Michaels has the most sympathy. I don't think they're going to shave his
Huh.
head. Who has the second? Oh, fuck. And then I just knew it was coming. And I remember like one of the writer's assistants called me one day. Yeah, we thought maybe, would it be okay? We just thought about the idea, possibly shake your head. What do you think about that? You know? And I was like, yeah, fine, whatever. You know, yeah, I didn't care. You know, I was a team player. I was a trooper, and just going into it, it was just another day. But I remember. Maga strapped me into that thing so hard, and coaches out there, and Armando's out there, and they're shaving my head and then coming back, and they took the big razor to it. I'd had that hair for so long, I just started growing it because when I was in OVW, they kept saying, you know, we need you to have a new look, you know, just change up your look, see what you got. And I just, finally one day I just gave up and said, I'm just going to let it grow. And it just, you know, it got pretty long. And the next thing I know, I've got it all in a bag, you know, a little Kroger bag right here. I was like, well, there's my hair. I enjoyed being a part of it. It was I remember at WrestleMania, Donald Trump comes up, oh, you look good, you know. About when I go, hey, can I have a job?
Yeah. How was Trump to work with during that angle, at least from what you saw?
You know, I really don't consider myself a part of that angle. I was like, you know, a little spice that was you know, led up to it. But I spoke to him a few times, and he was nice, you know. I mean, you know, the one of the times he was on TV, I remember I wrestled Khali. He came up, you know, shook my hand. I think he, for some reason, I don't remember what the deal was, but he was watching to see, you know, who was going to represent him. I don't remember the whole gist of it, but he goes, I liked your match, it was good. And then actually at WrestleMania, he goes, oh, you look good, you know, I took your hair off. And just, I mean, he was real nice. He was a little security with him everywhere. And he had, didn't he have Miss America with him there?
Yeah.
WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Had the Miss America with him. And he was a super nice guy.
What do you remember about Kenny Bolin?
Kenny the King Bolin, the Star Maker. There was a point there where I was dating this girl, and she and I broke up. I was living with her. I moved out, and my mom was like, nope, you got to be a man. You can't move back in here. So for about 2 weeks there, I was just scrambling to find somewhere to live. You know, in essence, I was homeless. And Kenny was dating this girl that worked for Hostess, like you know, the cream pies and the apple pies and anything. I guess that like it has to only be on the shelf for a certain amount of date, and after that date, they have to take it off the shelf. So these would be like apple pies and ding dongs and ho hos and anything like that was just a couple days off the shelf. He would bring into OVW in this big box. So I'd get there early, and I'd wait for Kenny to show up, and I'd grab the box and go lock in my truck. And that'd be the food that I'd have to eat all week because I didn't have a job. I wasn't making any money. Kenny is, oh my God, he's a shyster. He'll go into like a Steak and Shake and say, you know, I work at the, his eyes are like this, I work at the movie theater down there. I can give you X amount of movie theater passes to give me free food. So I give him free food, then he'll go around to the movie theaters. I work for Steak and Shake. I can give you free food, give me some free movie passes. Apparently, Kenny's never had a job since like 1973, and he's always driving a new car. I don't think he's ever paid for one, but Kenny's great. He's great comedy. I remember I was in a match one time. He pops up on the apron. I was supposed to go punch him. He must have moved because I wouldn't hit him.
Yeah.
I knocked the shit out of him. He had a big black eyes, all like this. I like Kenny a lot. He still sends me emails that I don't reply to. But Kenny's a good guy.
TitleMatchNetwork.com